Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bed Tech Show. We are your hosts, Ben and Ethan, and we've got some exciting tech news for you here at bedtime. With that, we're going to get started with a comprehensive list as we get near the end of 2020. We're going to go through a list of tech layoffs and how that's affected and all the companies that are laying off and are still laying off people, which is banana town.
Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff to see. I feel like we saw this a couple years ago where a lot of tech companies were laying off a lot of employees. But it's like one of the key facts here is um, last year there was 150,000 job cuts across 549 companies. And this year, more than 22,000 workers have been um, reduced. So that's and of those 22,000, 16,000 cuts taking place in February, which is pretty crazy. But there were some additional recent ones that were big. And so just to kind of run through it, in August, 6,000 employees. In September, about 2,000 employees. But October, we had pretty big ones happen. So Amazon, Google, Handshake, Smartsheet, Meta, Rivian. It's been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Amazon's big one was, I'm just pulling up the numbers here. 14,000. And um, there's been kind of mixed reaction about, I mean, that's a huge number,
Hmm.
right? 14,000 is huge. And there's kind of been mixed reaction of like why they're cutting 14,000. And some say it's like AI, cutting costs, AI, but the CEO, Andy Jassy, says it's quote unquote culture, which I thought was really interesting. And we can
Yeah,
kind of
that's
dive into
interesting.
that. But with Amazon's huge cuts, Meta with some cuts, Rivian, like I said, Google, Paycom, there's more. But what are your thoughts around this? Like, is it because of AI in your opinion, or do you think it's each company to their own, or what are your thoughts? Like, I just feel like they were seeing this trend right now again in Q3, Q4 of people cutting positions.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm not an expert in this, but I'm thinking like every time that a company says it's AI, it's just a cop out to hide what
Mm.
they're really doing. Because I know AI, all this AI revolution, it's a great tool. It's helping out a lot. It's doing a lot of ma mundane things. I don't think it's gotten to the point where it's replacing people yet. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, keep going.
yeah, so when they say like, yeah, we're cutting it because we of AI, I think that's just them hiding the fact of, hey, we're either not doing good or we're wanting to pad our bottom line because a lot of these companies, it's not like they're hurting for revenue at this point. I mean, especially like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, if you look at their market cap as of right now, like it's over 4 trillion,
It's crazy.
which which nobody in this world can even fathom that amount of money. And so
Yeah, it's crazy. Seriously, it is.
so with that, yeah, I don't know. I think it's them shifting a lot of their focus, what their priorities are, and it may be kind of like a band-aid fix of what is actually going on of rather than fixing what they can with the reduction in layoffs. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree with you on the AI front. I think a lot of large companies are using AI as like the front, the kind of the scapegoat. I don't know if that's always the case. I do know like companies like Duolingo, they did layoffs and the CEO is very much AI first focused. But I think that's kind of a rare instance. I don't think that's the majority, even though there's a lot of companies that are claiming AI. And like I said, and you said, I think it's a scapegoat. It's a facade because I think there's a couple things. One, either layoffs can be the easy reasoning behind not meeting certain targets, investor targets, or it could be like a band-aid to reassure investors of like, oh yeah, we didn't hit our targets this quarter, this year, but we did just lay off a lot of people to help, maintain profits for the company, whatever it might be. But even that, it's like, do you really need to maintain profits as big as you are, you
Right.
know? Um, Sometimes I think it's for um potential like future proofing. Um, and what I mean by that is like when they lay off, they're able to kind of have capacity and be a little bit more nimble, and they can adapt to what's to come in the future. If there is software, then they don't have to deal with layers of red tape for approvals of decision making or adoption of said new software with change management or replacement of individuals. I think if you're going to make cuts, instead of making two, three, four, five cuts over 2 years, maybe just one big cut. I don't know
Hmm.
if that's the case or the thought, but it was interesting to kind of hear from Amazon CEO um, Andy Jassy. He said it's about culture, and he kind of said similarly about like we were growing a lot and we were hiring a lot, and as a result, we like had way too many layers, and we couldn't move as quickly as we wanted to because there was like too many heads in the kitchen, too many cooks in the kitchen, too
Hmm.
many heads at the table. Um, and so I think maybe that's the case for them. Um, but I think at the end of the day, if it's a for-profit business, it's just business decisions are to protect the wealth and the profits of the firm.
Hmm.
And so like they can find all the different scapegoats in the world of like culture or AI or whatever it might be, but really at the end of the day it's for more money.
Yeah.
Um so actually I had a former coworker went to Meta at the beginning of the year um in the AI division, and in his title it was like a higher level of AI. And
Hmm.
I just looked and he had his position changed. It is
Oh, really?
now like something in modern accounting or modern finance, and there's no longer AI because I know Meta kind of reduced a heavy amount of their AI team
Hmm.
because there's like too many cooks in the kitchen, similar situation. Um, I thought that was really interesting to see. And I don't know
That's
if that's
crazy.
like, yeah, I don't know if that's like, hey, you can apply or be in a different position temporarily while we figure things out, or it's permanent or what.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I find it kind of crazy too with like Rivian being on this list as well
Hmm.
of like its recent cut in October. They're on this list for several months for this year. So like this year they've just been um dumping employees throughout the year. And it's kind of interesting because Rivian's kind of like in this really hybrid area where they're a data company because they're just like Tesla, but they're also a car manufacturing company
Hmm.
too. So it's a little weird, and a lot of their workforce, I think, like their cuts seem to be a lot with the EV market pullback, how it is in our current state, where
Hmm.
there's not such a high demand for these EVs. And which is interesting because like they're in the process of launching a brand new SKU of vehicles. And I I'm interested to see how their reduction in workforce is going to affect that new SKU that they're coming out, that they're
Yeah, the
basically,
rollout.
yeah, which is like their last Hail Mary to be able to make it as a car company in America.
Yeah, it's a good highlight for you to bring up Rivian just because their history kind of has been up and down and rocky, you know? Um, I didn't realize that this was their third layoff this year, which actually is, if I was at Rivian, I would not like that. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Um, I've been at a company that's gone through multiple rounds of layoffs and morale is down. No one feels motivated to work. Everyone is like, "Am I gonna have a job tomorrow? Like, when's the next time you do cuts?"
Hmm.
And it's almost kind of like everyone becomes half in, half out. Everyone starts to kind of look for another job. They're like, well, we're not really successful. We're laying off people multiple rounds. It's only a matter of time before it's me, so I better protect myself and find another
Right.
job, you know? Um, it's kind of sad to see. And I think you make a really good point. How is this going to impact the 2026 rollout of the R2s? Um, I given the history of like Tesla technology and Tesla innovation and the rollouts of those, I feel like it's going to get delayed. And if it doesn't get delayed, it's not going to be up to par what we want.
Right. Yeah,
I don't know. What?
it won't
Yeah.
necessarily be the R2 that we were promised.
Yes.
Um, I'm hoping it isn't like the Tesla Roadster that we were promised 10 years ago that still hasn't come out.
Yeah.
And kind of go off on a tangent for that. A lot of people have um, been canceling their Tesla Roadster orders. For one, Sam Altman, who was a reservation holder as of 2018, is now in the midst of canceling his. And there's like a feud between Elon and Sam on X, which
Wow.
it still hurts me to call that because it's Twitter.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely hate the name X.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, so the Roadster, when was that announced? Was that 2016?
Let's see. 2017.
2017.
Yep.
Okay. And so I think it was like $150,000 deposit.
Holy crap. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and I think if like you wanted like the high end, it was like 200,000. So if you were to buy Tesla stock in 2017,
Oh my gosh. And put your money there instead of the deposit.
yeah, let's see. Tesla stock price in 2017, I think was $22. $22 a share.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So like all the people that have made those reservations, if they would have invested in Tesla stock at that time, it'd be worth more, infinitely more.
Bro. Bro. That's crazy.
I think this is just like the precursor, like never invest in like future promise of tech ever
Yeah.
or
Well, and
future
it,
products.
yeah, future products. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally get that. And especially when it's like a big leap in innovation, because that first iteration that comes out, it's going to be pushed out with speed, with haste, without all the QA checks and balances. It's going to be like pushed out to the market for delivery, right?
Hmm.
So there's going to be issues. But not only that, like wait and see what it actually is like. And don't invest in the product early on because a lot of companies will overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah,
But investing in the stock is a whole different story, right?
right.
Um, I think Tesla does this a lot. Not
Yeah.
I think we know Tesla does this a lot where
I
they
mean,
overpromise and underdeliver.
yeah,
Why? Stock price. That
yeah.
it pumps the stock price, you know?
I mean, like their Cybertruck is like the perfect example of
Mm-hmm.
what was overpromised.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up being smaller, absurdly more expensive, and a horrible user experience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
And
I mean,
delayed. And
and
delayed.
delayed. Yeah. And I was stupid enough to put in the pre-order when it first came out.
It
But
wasn't $150,000 though.
yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was only I think what $100 at the
Yeah.
time or
Yeah.
50,
Yeah.
something
Something like that.
nominal compared
Exactly.
to what you have to do now. But yeah, I think it was just it's absurd that I really would love a car company or any tech company to when they announce a product to that be like the worst iteration of it, and by the time that it's actually released, be a better version.
Yeah. I, I don't know if that'll happen though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, if you look at Apple with the Air Power, that never came. I still want that, but
Yeah.
it's never
Bro,
coming.
same. Same here. Not gonna happen though. I'm not holding my breath anymore. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you get that. But the crazy thing is like people still stay loyal. They still eat up the new announcements. They still,
Yeah.
you know, hype train still starts going. So when is there gonna be fatigue of like, okay, this is like product announcement fatigue, you know?
hmm
I don't know when
I,
that will happen.
I mean, I feel like I'm starting to get that fatigue now. Like I used to
You think
be,
so?
yeah, I think I used to be the person that was always like watching the keynote speeches live just to see what was being new and announced. And I think, after so much time of having all these promises for stuff that never comes, it's like it just gets old and it's hard.
Yeah. I definitely feel that with Apple.
Hmm
With Apple, I have the fatigue of like, I don't need to tune in Apple. I already know what you're gonna do. You're gonna upgrade the battery, you're gonna upgrade the memory, you're gonna upgrade the camera, and that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. We're going to spend 40 minutes of the keynote talking about the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So from a fatigue standpoint, definitely for me, I on the Apple side, I feel that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like hearing Meta and them talk about the Ray-Bans recently, that was pretty cool. That
Agreed. Agreed.
I, I was legitimately stoked about that.
Yeah.
I haven't gone in to get the new Ray-Bans or anything, but I thought that like the capabilities of that new technology is really cool and really innovative.
I agree. And I really hope they do deliver on that, I hope it's not like a crappy version of what they showed and what they released. And again, I'm not going to be buying and investing in a product early on. Like I'm not going to pre-order it. I'm not or buy it early, first edition, whatever it might be.
Hmm
I'm going to wait and see what are the use cases? What are people using it for? What's the value it brings? Is it worth the price? Is it consistent? Is it reliable? Is it durable? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think too many people still, similar to the Roadster, as you were saying, they invest in the product and
Yeah.
not something bigger than that?
hmm So, I guess the moral of the story is instead of buying the product, I guess just to put it in the stock.
Yep, exactly. Speaking of products and stocks to be aware of, maybe potential stocks, OpenAI. OpenAI with their browser. That's a new product coming out.
Yes, it
Should we talk
is.
about OpenAI's Atlas?
Yes. Ooh, Atlas. So I'm going to preface this with saying that I haven't tried it, but from what I do know of it, it is an only a Mac OS web browser. It's OpenAI's brand new browser that has ChatGPT at the heart of it. And it's built from the ground up, essentially, as they're claiming it to be. But it has ChatGPT as its core, but without the features of other browsers, I guess, if you'd want it. So it's kind of like a very vanilla version of a browser. It has ChatGPT with it, but it doesn't have a lot of the other features. One of the key things that I think that it's doing is it can see all of your search history from whatever you search in there. So, as kind of like the differences between OpenAI and Google, one of their with their AI model, they have the ability to see everything you search for, which is like a massive amount of data
Hmm.
that they have access to. So I think OpenAI was wanting to get to this, but I think that's really the only thing to it. I I don't see any other features than having ChatGPT be able to look at your search history and be able to curate things based on what you're searching for.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So you shared an article with me about the author of the article. I'm trying to see who it was. Reese Rogers. And Reese mentioned going through different activities while using Atlas and specifically the Ask Cheat Chat GPT sidebar. So there's the sidebar that pops up, and you can essentially ask ChatGPT to kind of interact with the page that you're looking at and whatnot. And it was really interesting to see like the different examples it used. And so it like used ask the it's called Ask ChatGPT. That's what the feature's called, right? And so he used the Ask ChatGPT feature about like GitHub code and movie reviews and to see if like a movie was good for a date night and what was another one? Went to like a browsing Xbox website for a game and asked Chat GPT like, what's a good game for me based on what you know about me? And this is after like years of interacting with
Hmm.
Chat GPT in his profile, you know? So he expects like, okay, I expect some kind of good response. And it was somewhat disappointing. Not somewhat, it was actually pretty disappointing. And the comment made by Reese was that I thought was really interesting was at the very end, three sentences. I'll keep testing Atlas as my main browser for the next few weeks, but for now, I'm leaving the sidebar closed. That sidebar is Ask ChatGPT. I prefer full screen version of the internet. Um, and another part that Reese mentioned was not liking how like almost kind of like involved the ChatGPT
Hmm.
was with the browsing and prefers to like browse alone without ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting, you know, like, oh, you have like this virtual assistant that can just kind of help you comb through stuff and you prefer not to have that. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts about the article?
it kind of seems like somebody's just like looking over your shoulder each time that you're looking at the internet
That's
all the
a really
time.
good way of putting it. Whispering in your ear. That'd be a really good movie for you. Can you stop, please? That's a really funny point. I didn't even think about that. I like that analogy, Ethan. That was really
Yeah,
good.
so it seems a little weird. And it kind of makes me think of like who is this browser aimed at? Is it for a customer? Is it for who is it for? It kind of seems like it has a little bit of an identity crisis.
Mm,
And I mean, it's because it doesn't seem like it's optimized for people browsing websites. It seems it's like for a company who's collecting data about who the person is browsing, and that's
yeah.
what it's aimed at, rather than
Yeah.
trying to
Just
serve the human.
yes. Just on the surface, it's, hey, we're helping you browse the internet. But deep down, it's like, we're actually just getting more behavioral data for us
Hmm.
and understanding how you act, understanding what you look at. We're collecting all that data for
Yeah.
us.
And I mean, granted, Google's doing the same thing, but
Fair?
I I think I think Google is giving us more as a user experience
Hmm.
with their web browser. And so it's almost as if it's okay, I guess. I guess as consumers we're willing to give up that sense of that lack of privacy
Yeah.
for those features. Whereas this with Atlas, we don't have those features yet, so probably, at least for me, I'm a little more hesitant because I don't want to give up that privacy if I'm not getting there's nothing in it for me.
Yeah. With Google, it's a little bit more justifiable trade-off.
Hmm.
Yeah, fair. I align with that point. I think that's a fair point. Um, I also think, you know, like going back to what we were saying about layoffs, at the end of the day, a product is being built because yes, there is a market that would want the product and it satisfies a market need or a nice to have. But at the end of the day, they're building the product to make money. And I know technically is OpenAI, I think technically OpenAI is still nonprofit,
Allegedly. Yes.
allegedly, but man, their behavior is moving more and more and more towards for-profit business. And
Yeah.
um I sent you an article about like some people believe that they're gearing up for a huge IPO, $1 trillion IPO. Whether
Yeah.
that's true or not, we don't know. But what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think it's interesting that they're moving towards this because I know like moving in that direction is a huge financial and company undertaking because there's a lot of regulations that you need to meet, a lot of things that you need to comply with to be able to become a public company.
Hmm.
And so, with that, you've got to make all of these changes. And especially like despite the fact that they are having quarterly losses, it it makes me wonder if what they're asking for that IPO is worth what they're actually worth.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard to gauge with it like valuation of an IPO, right? Because you never
Mhm.
know what the market views a company to be valued at until it goes on the market.
Yeah.
But you make a really good point that their behavior is moving much more towards for profit. And it's almost like they're kind of going to need to if they want to stay afloat, if they're reporting losses all the time, just because it's so expensive to do what they're doing,
Mhm.
to maintain the amount of data, AI, uh, all of the prompting and data storage. It's incredibly expensive.
Yeah. I mean, if you need $50 billion just for like a quarter in the year to buy NVIDIA or to buy a data center that needs NVIDIA GPUs, $50 billion a quarter, that just seems insane.
And again, I think going back to your point of what you said earlier, I don't think we can fathom what that looks like. I don't think people realize what that's like. $50 billion.
Yeah.
It's insane. And not only 50 billion, but like valuation standpoint, they're looking potentially at not they're looking at, but the rumors are $1 trillion, first $1 trillion valuation of an at with their IPO, which would shatter all records, completely shatter all records. It really makes you think like, is AI and the idea around AI, is it a bubble that's going to burst and people are going to realize it's not all that it is cracked up to be? Or is it actually all that it is cracked up to be?
Yeah.
And the $1 trillion valuation is valid.
Hmm. Yeah. And so, I mean, as myself, like, as we're talking about fathoming this amount of money that it takes for everything, and I still have a problem fathoming it, and I kind
Same.
of live in this world of business finance all the time, but like to put it in perspective, and some of you may have heard this before, and you probably have too, but what if you were to count 1 million seconds, it would take you 11 days to count to 1 million.
Hmm.
If you were to do that for 1 billion, it would take 31 years before you would get that.
Bro,
And we just throw out billions like it's last year's toilet paper.
dude, that is insane to me. 11 days for a million,
Yeah.
31 years for a billion.
And if we were to do 1 trillion seconds in years, it would take 31,709 years to count to a trillion.
Bro,
No one could do that in their lifetime.
bro, that is so stupid. 31,000 years. I can't, even that, I like have a hard time. Like, how much is that? You know, like a lifetime is 100 years. 31,000 years?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So, I mean, this hypothetical thing of a $1 trillion IPO that OpenAI is going to be seeking is just ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I don't even think they're going to be near worth that. I mean, I know what they're doing is great. I mean, they've been able to pull off um what they've been able to pull off in this very short amount of time since they've started is extraordinary.
Agreed.
But I don't think they're near worth that. I mean, even Nvidia with their latest market cap valuation at 5 trillion, I, I almost kind of think that's pretty inflated too. It's almost like our
Hmm.
stock market is really inflated
Hmm.
at this time. And I'm kind of curious as to when that this AI bubble is going to burst.
Yeah. I do think I do agree with you. I don't think in this current moment any company is really valued should be valued at $1 trillion or more. And I know, yeah, Nvidia market cap 5 trillion. And I just think there's too much there's too much hype around AI. Um, and I think people will start to realize, like, I think you mentioned this earlier in the podcast. It's not able to replace jobs yet. It's not able to be fully functioning. There still needs to be a lot of human involvement. What it's doing right now is it's making lower level tasks more efficient.
Hmm.
Complex tasks takes a lot more creativity, a lot more build time, and even then, it's how complex can it be, you know? Even
Right.
then, there's like decision trees that need to be made and created and stuff like that, and that you can only get so far from like a reasonable standpoint as a regular consumer of building out these decision trees for a workflow, an automated workflow, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I think with that, as you talk about how AI is really helping us become more efficient. I think that's what it's really designed to do. Rather than replace everything that we're doing, it's designed to make items more efficient so we can do the things that matter most. And it almost feels like, as a society, we're kind of forgetting that. Like, instead of doing the things that matter most, we're in what more can we put into AI? What what can what can this do for us rather than kind of taking in that moment of, hey, because AI is helping me with this, I can I can take a nap or you
Yeah,
know, uh, go outside and touch grass or go for a walk or something, spend time with
yeah,
your family, whatever it
yeah,
is. And so uh, I think, if we kind of take a second back, it's step back, maybe like all of these inflated things might normalize a little bit.
yeah. I think that's fair. Ideally, I think that would be a really nice situation.
Mhm.
I don't know if that'll happen.
No, yeah,
Um,
it's good. It's probably going to be a while before I can touch grass.
sorry, Ethan.
I know.
Yeah, stay in the office, crank away. Here's the benefit of having AI. It takes away some of your grunt work and it frees you up to do more work.
More. Yep.
Yeah, great. Sweet.
It's just what I wanted. More work.
Yeah, more work. Yeah, exactly. But I just feel like kind of that's the sentiment that I'm seeing, at least with AI in business, is, well, it'll alleviate headcount at the lower levels. It'll help us be more efficient at the lower levels. That way we can really focus on high level and we can scale better. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, that just means more work. But
Right.
so at the end of the day, man, it's that dollar everyone's chasing, more dollars,
I know. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I guess NVIDIA's earnings calls coming up this month, so we will see how their quarter has been and if they've made or lost money. But
Yeah, we'll see. What are they? I think they're it was kind of red this last week with stocks, but maybe it's kind of bounced back. Oh yeah, it looks like it's bounced back, at least for Nvidia.
yeah, I think I think Friday was a good day, but the week was it was kind of up and down.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was a down month in October. It kind of dropped and stagnated, but then yeah, bumped back up this week quite a bit. Very interesting. Yeah, but it is cool to kind of like see. this progression happen with these companies who are developing, and just seeing like who in the AI race is really pushing the limits. Um, I work with a lot of digital technology companies, and a lot of them are kind of using these foundational AI companies as the backbone of their AI features, you know?
Hmm.
Like they'll say they have GPTs or large language models, but really they're just using like OpenAI or
Yeah.
Gemini or whatever it might be, you know, Claude.
Grok.
So, yeah, Gronk. Dude, bro, I was having a conversation with someone. This threw me off so bad. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday. No, sorry, Thursday. And he's this buddy of mine. He's telling me about how he is like, okay, so let me backtrack. We had like a conspiracy night just for fun of like all these different conspiracies. And then on Thursday, we kind of saw each other again and we were chatting. He's like, dude, the conspiracy night kind of got me thinking. I wanted to do all this start like research on these things. And he's like, so I started talking to Grok. And I was like, who? He's like, I started talking to Grok. Have you ever talked to Grok? I'm like, are you talking about like the AI Grok? He's like, yeah, yeah, I'm talking about Grok. And I'm like, I have never met anyone that has conversations with Grok. Like I've heard it with like ChatGPT, you know,
Uh-huh.
but it just kind of threw me in a tailspin of like, what are you talking about? I don't know a Grok. I'm thinking like Gronkowski. Like that's the
Yeah.
like first thing that came to mind is like the football player Gronkowski. I'm like Grok. I don't know a Grok. And when you said it again there, it was like triggered me again of like, bro, I don't know people that use Grok, but maybe there's a lot more people that use it than I just I'm out of the loop. But
So with your Tesla, because you're a brand new Tesla owner, do you have
yes,
Grok in your Tesla?
bro, being a brand new Tesla owner, I might have Grok in my Tesla and I just don't realize it. I haven't really done a lot of digging. If I did, would it be obvious?
Um, I I think so, because I think it would be a feature that you could enable within your Tesla vehicle.
I'm looking right now.
I know mine's old, and in tech years it's a dinosaur at this point because it's at
Wow.
5 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm close to that. I'm 2021, so pretty much there. Um, you're 2020? Is that your year?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So I just looked it up. My Model Y cannot use Grok AI because
gotcha,
it requires the AMD Ryzen processor.
gotcha. Yeah, I kind of wish they would Tesla would have like a retrofit for the central processing unit
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be
because
really nice, actually.
I feel like the hardware hasn't changed a whole lot over the years,
Hmm.
um, but the software definitely
The
has.
software for sure has. Yeah. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine who's considering buying the new 2026, like Model
Mhm.
Y refresh. And he was asking me about my 2021 Model Y. And I was like, oh, dude, I actually love it. Like, has a lot of the feature sets that I want that to me felt more luxury.
Mhm.
And at the time when it was released, it was like way better than any other car. And even now, like compared to our minivan, I'm like, this is so nice. But the one thing that we talked about was how it can only keep up with software updates to a certain extent because your software can't always, like, you can't continue to upgrade your software if that software requires certain qualifications of your system. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, I can't run whatever Windows I'm on right now on my 1995 computer,
Right.
and I can't just do like a software update. Um, and so I think there are software updates that come to my Model 20, my Model Y, my 2021 Model Y, but I think there are limitations on what can be updated just over the internet. And so, like that AMD Ryzen processor,
Mhm.
um, and I think you're right for the most part. Like most of the hardware on the car has pretty much been the same. I think they updated like some of the sensors and cameras.
Yeah, sensors and cameras have been updated a little bit. They've probably, I mean, even in the newer ones, they've taken out a lot of the sensors. There's like none.
Really?
And yeah, it's all camera based now for the Teslas.
Oh, what was it before? LiDAR?
LiDAR, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I know Elon's talked about like how when you have sensors that do similar things, they can kind of conflict with each other as they're
Mm.
like mapping a certain thing. And so he said that it is a more optimized system. It was better to go vision based for,
Yeah, that
which I
makes a lot
can
of
see
sense.
that. But
Same. I park in my garage, and on my right side, I have like shelves full of just stuff. And every time I park, I just see like 50 human bodies on my Tesla screen pop up, and it's like wigging out, like all moving. It's so funny. It's so funny. My kids
but
are
you
like,
know,
Dad, there's a whole crowd next to us. I'm like, yeah, that's just our racks of stuff.
what I do find it cool is that like it'll tell you like how many inches you are away from your vehicle. Like I think every vehicle needs that to know exactly how far away an object is.
That is such a sick feature. I thought that was the coolest thing when I was like backing up the other day. Well, when I first got it, not the other day. When I first got it, I was backing up. Or when I park in my garage, I don't want to hit my wall. And so it'll tell me like 18, 13, 10, stop, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that is such a cool feature. I totally
Yeah,
agree with you.
because
More
like
cars need that.
yeah, because like now I know exactly how far I need to pull back in the garage is when it reaches that certain thrreshold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it says you have crashed, that's about the time you stop.
You have crashed. Thanks, Captain Obvious. That's funny. But yeah, I think, going back to what we were saying with all the different AI tools and all the different technologies that are coming out, I think most of the software companies are leveraging some of the foundational companies like OpenAI or Google or
Yeah.
whatever else it might be. Um,
Yeah, it's too
so
costly to build your own LLM from the ground up.
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, why? First of all, it's going to be very expensive. But second of all, you have no idea if you have the right people in place that can even build an equivalent or something better than what's already being built.
Right.
So it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Piracy. That's what we all
piracy.
need.
There you go. As business calls it, white labeling.
Yes.
Uh, just bribe them to use their stuff and you can white label it. Bribe them with money and they'll be happy. But yeah, I think like it'll be interesting to see what happens with this AI hype, this AI bubble that we're seeing. Is it going to pop or is it just going to explode and be a rocket ship? So
Yeah.
a lot of things are moving.
Yeah. So I guess look out for that NVIDIA earnings call. Um, after after that day or on that day, that that may be the precursor to what's going to happen for AI. Is it is it going to start to crack, show its cracks, or is it going to continue to soar? So, well, with that, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really helps out our channel. If you didn't, that other button seems to work all right too. Make sure you send this video to somebody you disliked. As always, ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling button so you never miss out on any content as it's posted on the channel. Until next time, stay classy. Have a great evening.
Peace.